So yeah, welcome guys to a Mobile2b live no coding stream session. This is actually the very first one of this kind, and maybe for whoever doesn't know me yet, my name's Robert. I'm the founder and CEO of Mobile2b, and yeah, I want to start streaming in the next couple of weeks and just show you how we use our Mobile2b no-code technology to build apps, really. And I've an interesting thing planned for today, and I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, in the future, the idea is also that maybe you have some nice ideas about what you would want to see being built. And yeah, if you have any questions or any ideas for what to build next, just use the chat. I can see it here on my screen, and I'm sure to respond and try to engage as much as possible. So yeah, I guess we'll just start with the show. Okay, I can just... Okay, someone just said that they can't use the chat. Let me see if I can fix that here. Is there something I need to... Again, this is the first time streaming on YouTube, so excuse me if there's a few hiccups along the way. Apparently, is the chat disabled? That wouldn't be too good. So chat should be enabled actually. Maybe someone else can try just using the chat. I don't know. We'll try to figure it out. But all right. I'm gonna start anyways, I think, and then if it really doesn't work, I'll try something else. Okay. Anyway, I have my screen loaded up, and yeah, let me show you what I actually have planned to build today. I think it's a nice, simple app, but actually one that could be quite useful, and I think it's a good example of a big array of similar apps like that. So I'm just gonna log in for now, so we can start. So what I thought about what would be nice for like a first app is actually a checklist app for 5S audits. Now I've pulled up Wikipedia here in case you're not familiar with 5S. So 5S is a quality management methodology where you can actually that's about checking workspaces for their cleanliness and how well they're set up, and obviously that's supposed to lead to higher quality in the work that's being performed. And it's actually a nice thing because it is actually a standard. So there's 5S sections, which is a sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain or self-discipline. Obviously, the original words are in Japanese, so I'm not gonna read them out. But that's essentially it. And well, I know a lot of companies use the 5S methodology to monitor the quality and the standard of their workspaces, and typically they'd have a checklist, so a couple of questions in each of these S groups, and traditionally you would have a piece of paper maybe, and then just go to a workspace and then check off if that's according to the standard or not, etc. Obviously, we want to build this as a fully digital app, right? And you can use a smartphone to just take that app with you to the workspace, perform your check, your audit over there. And yeah, I think that's just a nice example application that we can build. because obviously this is a specific use case here, but I guess any type of checklist, audits, whatever, can really be, it's the same approach really. So okay, so I'm going to get started with this. So let's think about how to start. I guess I always want to start with a UI, right? So I'm just going to create a new UI, and I'm going to call this 5S checklists. All right, so something like this, I guess, right? Now, I mean, we have these groups, right? So let's check that out. So we have sorts. So I think we should probably just use a. Hold on, I need to switch to English. Forgot that. Okay, so. All right, so I think I'm just going to use a group element here to just create the outer structure for the 5S categories, right? So I'm going to drag that group in. So we have sorts, and I'm going to duplicate, set in order. So I'm just going to copy all of that. And obviously I'm going to have to fill those. You know what? Let me just maybe make this a little bit. I like to make the group headers a different color than the button, so it kind of stands out a little bit more, and you can it's easier to see what is what, right? So okay, so we have set in order. Let me do that again. By the way, the exact app that I'm building here tonight, we're actually going to make that available. So if anyone after tomorrow wants to actually see what I built here and how this could be, they just take it from there, use that as a template or something like this, you can, and then hopefully that's going to be helpful. But actually, my idea for tonight is to build this app in a way that it's actually fully functional too. So you can just take it and it's fine the way it is. Let's see. Okay, so these are my 5 S groups, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So that's good. Let me just use that. Okay, so I can't publish because I haven't put anything in the groups yet. So yeah, we need the questions, I guess, right? The assessments, and there's going to be a question that's going to be required, and I want to have this compact style, so that gives me this nice, the buttons all on the right. So typical 5S checklist questions, I guess, what we want. You know what? I actually have ChatGPT pulled up here because I think that's always a nice way to help with these kind of things. So please list. Please provide a list with typical 5S questions. Please add 5 questions per S group. Right. Okay. So let's see. All right. So that's nice. Even has the same categories, which is helpful. But okay. So I'm just gonna, I guess, copy and paste those to get started. So that's gonna be what items are necessary for this workspace or process. So that's good. But before I actually do the second one, because I already know I want to have 5 times 5, 25 questions. I think this is because I'm going to duplicate the element, right? So I don't have to do this over and over again. And before I duplicate, I kind of like to finish the elements completely. that includes if-then conditions, which I'm going to add now, because all of those will be duplicated as well. And if I didn't do it now, I'd have to do it for all the 25 again. So that's not good. So yeah, so here we go. If no, because I do wanna track, and that's another thing I thought about for this app is not only do I want to have a checklist result with lots of yeses and some nos, I actually want to build an integrated issue tracking with this as well. So for any issue or any finding that I might have in this audit, I want to actually write that to a database, including some explanation or whatever, so we can actually work on it and fix these problems, right? So I think for this, I'm just gonna add a text field, issue description. I think that's going to be enough for tonight. I mean, you as you know, there's lots of other elements like camera elements. Maybe I'm just going to add that optionally. So photo optional. So you can have an issue description and the photo optionally. Yeah, I think that's good. Let me think if we want to make this. I guess we could add an assignee as well. So if we want to assign this to someone, that could be interesting. So I'm just gonna have a user selection as a. I'm actually gonna say you can't select group. Well, maybe you can select groups. That's fine. But it's definitely required. So you want to describe what the issue is, and then you want to assign this to someone and optionally add photos. I think that's good, right? Now, okay, so let me just, so this is my first question, right? And now if I duplicate, as you can see, you know, it actually duplicates this whole block. And that's because I've set this up previously. But now that I think about it, I think we can even do this a little bit nicer and more manageable. And that is by using UI components, because I mean these three elements here, they're gonna repeat over and over again, and even if I now duplicate, I'm not gonna have to add all these fields again. But if I want to change that part or that group inside the if condition, I'm gonna have to change it in 25 places. I don't want that. So I'm actually gonna I'm just gonna duplicate this entire UI. I'm gonna call this, hold on. Why didn't this duplicate? Oh, I think it's because it's not published yet. Oh, yeah, it's not published, and that's why it duplicates only the published version. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to add one element in each of these, and that will let me publish the UI, and that will let me duplicate the UI, and then I can do what I wanted to do, which is create a component first. Okay, so hold on. No, this one needs to go down here. Needs to go down here in the group. Exactly. You know what? I'm just gonna add some text, some dummy text elements, just to make the validator not complain, so we can actually have a completed UI. So let me see if it's now. Yeah, okay. So now that let me publish, and now I guess if I duplicate now, yes, that's what I wanted. And now I'm just gonna drag these three elements up here. So, and then I'm gonna delete everything else. So what I'm doing is I'm just building a little UI component that can be reused in many different places in the other UI, right? So obviously the checklist and the groups, that's going to be my main UI, but I want to have this as a recyclable component. Okay, so I'm gonna call this a capture issue component, right? Something like this, doesn't really matter. But now if I go back to my UI, to my checklists, I can actually not do this. Yeah, sorry, I gotta delete a bunch of fields now, but I mean, again, this is live, this is streaming, this is what it's gonna be like in reality, right? You're gonna try stuff, you're gonna find another idea that actually makes more sense in this use case, in this case, and then yeah, you're gonna adapt. And now, see, now I don't have to have 3 elements, I can just have this one element, and if I actually click on it, I can see what's inside the component, which is these 3 elements. Super nice. So now I will just delete all the elements that I had deleted here before. Okay. So there's still no chat messages, so I guess the chat really isn't working, is it? I don't know. I'm sorry about that. I need to check what's going on. Give me a second, please. I'm gonna try to see if I can figure this one out. Sorry about that. I need to check what's going on. It's working. I mean, I just posted the test message myself, so I guess it is working. Yeah, if you have questions, just go ahead and post those if you want. Anyway, let's move along. So I'm gonna delete this too, and now we can actually duplicate those, and actually I'm gonna duplicate this 3, 4, 5 times, and yeah, I guess this is gonna be a bit of a copy paste job to do now, but yeah, that's how it goes, I guess, for now. Maybe if anyone has a question, please use the chat. It's a good time to talk about those, because I'm gonna need a minute to set up these questions. So hold on, what items? Okay, so then this one. No, sorry, I messed up. Hadn't copied the 3rd one yet. Oh no. So this is the way, what items this needs to be. That's number 2. Okay, so what items? Are there any? Can we categorize? Yes. And how can we minimize clutter and streamline? Okay, I already got that one. Are there any redundant processes and equipments? I mean, right now I'm just copying and pasting these questions, and I guess that's what you're gonna have to do if you maybe do have a paper-based checklist or an Excel-based checklist or something like this that you actually want to make an app from. But there are other ways to fill a UI like this, which I can show in another stream. Maybe use that, which is where you actually build up some sort of a library of questions as a business object, or like business objects that act as questions, and then you can actually have a UI that is dynamically filled based, like all these questions are dynamically generated based on these business objects. I think that's also a pretty powerful feature, but yeah, that's, I guess, one we would have to do well, I'm going to look into that in a future stream, I guess. All right, so 2 groups down, 3 to go. it's always auto-publishing or auto-saving, right? So I don't have to worry about anything being lost. So that's all good. And now this one goes into the shine. Yes. Okay. So that's that. By the way, I'm not using this right now, but you could, if you wanted to, use this help section, right? So, for example, are there any potential hazards or safety concern, or dirt and debris? And you could like use this help to say examples of debris includes, and then you could provide the auditor with a help text, and then if they hover over it, they could get additional information or help on how to answer that question. That's what it's there for. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with this. Unfortunately, it's 5S, not 3S. Otherwise, we would already be done in a second. But yeah, we'll get there. And again, you know, I'm gonna set this up once. We're gonna make the app available to anyone who's interested, and it's gonna have all those questions in there, so you kind of don't have to do the work again. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on to the fourth S group. Oh no, this is how I wanted it. Okay, standardize. Right now I'm just setting up the UI, right? Which is just the part that's visible to the end user, meaning the auditor, the person who is actually going to do these 5S checks, 5S audits. After that, there's going to be some more work that needs to be done, which is actually acting on the results. So, right, we want to have a you know, these issues, if an issue comes up, we want to handle that. So I'm gonna do that in a second step. And I also want to do a report generation. So after the audit is done, I want to automatically generate a report document that can be sent to you know, to someone in the organization to let them know about the check that you just did, and that should be nice as well. All right. So okay. Okay, so that's gonna be in here. All right, so how can we foster a culture, etc. Now that I actually I'm sitting here copy and pasting all these questions, I mean, maybe there should be a way to more easily import these questions, because I know ChatGPT has a copy function here, right? So I could copy this entire block of text into the clipboard, but now, I mean, there's no way to actually import this or you know, create all these questions from a clipboard like this. But anyway, so I'm going to be finished in a second. That's okay. And now duplicate. Also, one thing, I mean, this is a live stream because I wanted to give you like unedited live experience on what it is if you use no code to create these kind of apps. But if what we built today is actually, it turns out nice, we are thinking of maybe editing this a little bit, so you can this could be actually a nicely edited tutorial video instead of, and then obviously we will speed up all the me copying and pasting. Okay, someone is telling me the stream quality might not be good. Let me check, because it should be full resolution. I don't think we've limited this in any way. Yeah, maybe someone can just write back if they can see it in HD or not. But yeah, okay. So finally, we have our checklist complete, and yeah, I think it's looking quite good. Maybe we should give this a little bit of a title. That's nice. So let me just add a label up here. I'm just gonna call this 5S Audit. Some sort of a header. Maybe we can do this, in some sort of blue. Yeah, just why not? And then these are also all going to be. Oh, by the way, one thing I just noticed is they are set to auto expand. I don't think I want that. Auto expand means that this is the way you will initially see the checklist, which is with it expanded. But I think that's going to be a little bit too busy for the eyes. And also, I think this show progress is nice, because this will give us an indicator on how many of the questions inside each of these specific groups has already been answered. So you kind of know your progress along those, right? So that's nice. Just check this. Okay, and now I have my 5S Audit app. Okay, maybe just because it's nice, just add a signature. Like this. Okay. All right. And now, I think that's good enough for the UI. Now we need to make it a flow. And the flow is actually what will... how this will actually work. And okay, Thomas, you just said YouTube quality is not that good, seems not like 1080p, reading text is kind of difficult. Okay, again, this is my very first stream, so setup might not be ideal. Maybe I need to look into how to set this up. Let me just check if I can find a setting. Bitrate seems okay. Stream. This is my YouTube setup. Stream quality, it just says very good. So I don't know what that means. I don't know. Hopefully the recording after the stream is actually better. But okay, let's yeah. Let me figure this out. I'll try to figure this out a little bit later. I can't find anything where it's like limited to some sort of a lower grades resolution, but yeah, okay. Flow. So I'm going to create a flow, and I'm just going to use this helper method up here, which is kind of useful because it'll already put in the UI inside the flow, etc. So I don't have to worry about this. And actually, it gives me two options, and I'm just going to say, because I did mention earlier I wanted to create a report, so this assistant actually allows me to already select that option and will create the appropriate nodes for me inside the flow. So so here's the flow. This is my 5S. Let me just quality inspection check list. This one. Okay. So this is a 5S workspace quality control. Okay. All right, so what this assistant did for me, it created a start node, obviously, then the 5S checklist, including the UI that we just did. Then it will generate a report for me just with the default templates, and then that's it. So, and I can already go ahead and publish this. And now, I did that. Now I can actually add that to our launchpad. And well, this works now. I mean, technically we can already start this. So I can, you know, start the audit and then open these and then kind of click through. If I click no, we'll get this component that we created earlier, right? And I cannot complete it because I said all of those fields supposed to be required. But let me just click through, and you see how the progress actually works for each of the groups. So if I just go down here, for example, you know, and that helps if you collapse all the groups again. I mean, I guess 5 groups is still fairly it's fairly easy to keep an overview, but if you have like much longer checklists, much more questions, etc., then these progress, I guess, are kind of helpful. So I'm just going to click yes on all of those because I don't want to bother too much about just want to see if how this all works together. And 5S completed, and I actually, that's also part of what the assistant did for us. The assistant kind of overrode or changed the setting of the finish button to directly take us to the created report. So that's nice, I think. And yeah, you can see, I mean, it's obviously not super nicely configured yet, but it's the results of the audit, right? So by the way, maybe let me go to the default template right here, and want to check this option to actually make it look a little bit better. Yeah, and yeah, I don't need this. Let me just whatever. Okay, now I think what we should do now is actually think about the issues and also about the report. So let's go back to the checklists and to one of those questions. And I mean, this is basic mode of the assessment element, but if you open the export mode, you can see that each of the answer options, in this case it's just yes or no, actually has a score attached to it, or not a score, a numeric value. So when I click yes, internally this answer gets the numeric value of 1, and if I click no, it gets the numeric value of 0. Now we can use that to calculate a percentage compliance of this workspace, for example. So so the number of yeses divided by 25 is going to give us the percentage of how well this workspace is compliant, right? And that's because 1 and 0. So you're not going to get a score for no, but you're going to get a 1 for the yes. And I think that would be nice to have in the report as well. And if I'm not mistaken, we have a variable, overall assessment results. So as long as your UI has, I think, at least one assessment element, you're gonna have this overall assessment results variable, and it will give you exactly what I just laid out, which is, you know, the score of your assessment elements. Now it's easy with ones and zeros, but you could also have like 3 or 4 answers options with, you know, 10 to 0 or whatever, and it would actually calculate that results. So it's kind of like how many points did you get out of the total possible number of points. That's kind of the logic behind it. So I'm gonna take my template here and let me just add a paragraph maybe here, and so this is going to be my score, and by using add I can create a variable placeholder in the template, just like it says here, and I want to make this, I don't know, maybe some sort of a green color, bold, yeah, something like this, I guess. Or maybe even better, let me just add like 2 columns, and I can just, yeah, maybe that'll look, why can't I drag this in here? I guess it's a little bit finicky. Oh, is this a bug? That's interesting. Oh, by the way, I actually am on a development system here. So, and I did that intentionally because I wanted to show the latest and greatest features. Some of them might actually not be fully bug-free yet, which is why you might be seeing this. I don't know what's going on here, but you know what? I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let me just get rid of that layout elements, and let's just use, or the columns element, and let's just use it like this. And now obviously I'll have to go back to my document generation, and because I've added a new variable placeholder, it's gonna ask, it wants me to fill this, but it's actually a text, like a string variable, blue, and what I get out of the checklists, I already saw that earlier, is a green number. So that's not compatible, so I have to convert this first. And I do this with the value converter. So value converter right here. Convert assessment score from number to string. So conversion, yeah, so this is going to be my assessment score string. From type is number, to type is text or string. And now I'm going to pick the variable, which is all the way on the bottom of the UI. And now I can actually select a pattern. There's some patterns pre-selected, like this one, which is, I think, exactly what we want. Or if you click custom, we can actually make this a little bit different. I think I just need full number percentages. I think that's good enough. And so I'm gonna add this node before the document generation, obviously, because I need that conversion to happen before so we can use it. And now if I go back to the variables and take that converted score, now that's blue, and now that's what I can use in here, right? So that's always something, if you like see this, wanted to have a blue variable, you only had a green one, value converter is the way to convert those between the different formats. And yeah, I guess I can just give this a try. I'm just actually going to use the debug mode, because that will allow me to see some more logs. By the way, I mean, now obviously that's a little bit tedious to fill these 25 questions. We're actually thinking of a feature where in debug mode there is like one button at the top, you know, fill with random values or fill with all yeses or whatever. So just to speed up this debugging process a little bit. And all right, it seems to have worked here. As you can see, it actually got 100%, and that's what it took here. So yep, there's the 100%. And also you can see now it's formatted a little bit differently. So that's already looking a lot nicer, right? I guess we don't need this title because we have this title here. So that's kind of twice, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this in here. I'm just gonna change it in the UI response. So what I do is in here, we have these show hide elements. So I think I'm just gonna not include this title. Obviously not gonna include the next button. And so this is gonna be 5S audit. Okay. You know what? I think to make this actually a proper app, we should add information about the workspace that we audit. that does make sense, huh? So actually, let me just create a business model right here, and I'm gonna call this workspace. And yeah, it's just gonna have a name for now. Whatever. We can always expand on that later. But that's just going to be my workspace, and yeah, let me create a view for those. So now I have my workspace is here, and yeah, I don't know what. Wood prep station number 1, whatever, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just that's now one workspace. And what we can do now in the flow, we should, in the UI, we should have a object selection, workspace to audit, right? And we want to yeah, audit this. We want to select the workspace that we want to audit, and I don't need this. I want to have this preview mode. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, and it's required. So now I do have the information about the workspace that we're auditing, because I want to include that information in the document actually. So let me go back to the flow, and before we create the report, I want to create a title that's a little bit better. And I'm thinking of adding today's date and the name of the equipment, obviously. So I'm gonna create a text. I'm gonna need a text resolver. And I can have a block of text with various variables inside it, and this will resolve it all to a text without variables. So this one, 5S audits from, and then I'm just going to use the current date. Oh, you know, let me just do it the other way around. I think that's nicer. So 5S audit, and then I'm going to go to the checklist, and there should be my workspace to audit, and that's gonna have a name, and that's what I'm gonna put in here. And then I'm gonna use the current dates. Okay, and that's my report title, right? I don't know, create report title. and that needs to be put in front of the document generation as well, because again, we need that so we can use it. We need that before the report, and now I can just use that instead of 5S audit here. I can just use that variable and actually also use that for the document title. Yeah. I think that's good. I think that's a lot better. Let's run it again. 5S audit. Now, I need to select the workspace, and I'm going to use the wood prep station number 1. And yep, let me just click through everything again. Yes. I mean, I'm doing all this on a desktop now, so I can share with you guys. But obviously, as you know, this can just as well be done on a smartphone, on a tablet, when you're actually at the workspace, etc. So next, and reports. Yeah, see, that's nice. 5S audit, wood prep station number 1, and then today's date. I mean, this is some sort of like a technical date format. You could also format this date now. I think I'm gonna skip this, but yeah, I think this is kind of nice. And also, so this is the title inside the documents, but also, maybe one more thing. Yeah, right here, this document title is now also has this title, right? So that's nice. And you can see this extra title that the UI had is also gone now because we didn't include it. So that's good. However, I have one more thing that, see, what's not great yet is that this report is not connected to the workspace, or the other way around. If I open the workspace, there's not really, I mean, yes, we have the relationship to the run that we did, but I kind of want to have the reports of the 5S audits connected to this equipment as well, to this workspace as well. So, but that's easy. All I need to do is go back to the report generation here and set a relationship, and that should be fairly easy. That's a black one, so I'm gonna go back to the checklist here, and there should be down here workspace to audit, and then just gonna use this black object variable and just put this in here. So whatever business object I'm selecting in the UI is also going to get added as a relationship to the document later on. And that's nice because then I don't even have to look at documents. I don't have to look at runs again in the future. All I need to be looking at is the workspaces. I can actually see, okay, here's the documents of the latest audits, 5S audits, right? So we're going to see that in a second. Okay, but I think what we also wanted to do is build an issue tracking, right? Sorry, I just had another idea. I mean, this is literally like I'm coming up with these ideas right now. I just thought about, we have this score, right? I think it would be nice if we could visualize the latest score. Like whenever you do a 5S audit, I guess a workspace gets reevaluated, and we could have some sort of almost like a traffic light visualization if this workspace is compliant or if there's issues with the workspace, etc. And then this could be, we could build a nice dashboard for this. I think let me try this. I think that would be nice. And I'm thinking, because I said traffic light, I'm thinking actually colors. So I'm thinking status property, because I have these colors here. Just let me call this 5S status. And this is read only, so I cannot change this as a user manually, meaning I only want this to be I want this to be set automatically by the logic in the flow. So let's say options are okay, minor issues, major issues. I don't know. I mean, again, that's just one idea, right? So that could be it. And obviously this is not set in the beginning, but it would be nice. And by the way, I think now we can even think about adding some sort of a nice widget for our dashboard. I want to have the status, this one. Maybe as a pie chart. I think buttons is just fine. See, that's kind of nice. So, I mean, it's essentially gonna show what's on the left here, but just aggregated in these nice tiles, right? Okay, but now we have to set this and we have to come up with the logic. So in the flow, we now have to think about how will the result score from 0 to 1 translate into these 3 statuses that we just came up with. And you know, we can actually do this after the report is created, doesn't even matter. I think I want to do a switch. Switch overall results. Oh, score. And I'm just gonna use the 5S overall assessment result variable again. That's my variable that I want to switch over. I don't think a switch is actually going to make too much sense. Hold on. I mean, for a switch, we would have to have a case like, okay, 0 to 0.8 or something like this. Now, honestly, I'm not sure if this is actually supported or not. So, I'm not sure. I'm gonna use a slightly different elements, which definitely works. But I'm gonna find that out. And maybe it is in the documentation. I haven't seen this yet. I don't think it's supported actually. Anyway, I'm gonna use the logic element that should work just as well. Is results below 50%? That's my first question. And so we should just get the results again. And if that is less than 0.5, I guess it is. I don't know if it's 5 or 0.5 or 50. I think it's 0.5, but we'll test this in a second. And I can actually duplicate this. So if this is not below 50, then it might be below, let's say, 80. And I think that's all the cases we need to check, because otherwise, because what I want to do now is I want to set the 5S score with a object update. Set workspace 5S. No, what do we call this? Status. So if it's below 50, well, first of all, we need to get the workspace object. I get this from the checklist down here again. So object ID, and then I want to set the property status. Well, if it's below 50, I want to set it to major issues. If it's below, yeah, that's I think the way we have to do it. So we're gonna need 2 more times for the 3. So if the So I think this is exactly how it needs to be. And I'll walk you through it in a second. So, yeah. So, here's the first. If it's below 50, we're going to set it to major and done. If not, we're going to check if it's less than 80. If it is less than 80, we want to set this to minor. Else, we want to set this to okay. And then everything is going to be done like this. All right. Okay. Let's try this out. Let's see. Debug run. So we're going to take our wood prep station. I'm gonna get to answering no in a second, because then we're gonna look into the issue tracking. That's gonna be interesting too. But yeah, so yes. Should create a nice report, and it should actually now fill a nice dashboard. That's pretty cool. So signature and done. So no errors. That's good. Now, two things to check. First of all, the documents still looks nice, and you know what? I think this is because it was a debug mode. Let me go back, please. Yeah. Object not updated in debug mode. Okay, so if you do debug, it's great for actually. I mean, we can actually look into what the findings are. So this first, is it below 50? No. Is it below 80? No. So that it did that correctly, because you can see 1.0 is not less than 1.5. So that's what the debug run was good for. But actually updating the object, that's not happening in debug mode. So we do have to do a proper run, which we're gonna do now. But the other thing I wanted to check is for the document, right? We can actually open the workspace, and you can see here actually this is actually the now the document is related to this object, right? So now I can actually open it, and this is my my document. I just noticed one more detail though, because I configured this. If I configured it that this new status is supposed to be shown in the card, and the card is shown in the document. Now, if we actually the way we set it up is we are updating the status in the flow. We are updating the status after we create the document, and if that's the case, then this document is not going to have the latest status. So we do actually have to turn it around in order to actually first update the status, and then that new status is also part of the document. But that shouldn't be too hard. I'm just going to have to move the document generation bits to a later state. Oh, no, sorry. This can stay. That's not important. But this one needs to go towards the back. And then this starts immediately here. And I guess, I mean, I think this is kind of a cool example actually on how flexible no-code really is, right? I mean, this is just me dragging this node around, drawing some new arrows, and, well, effectively change the entire application flow. That's, I mean, I guess in traditional programming that would take a little bit longer than 30 seconds. But yeah, so now, we're updating the status before we're creating the document. Hence, the new status should be shown in the new reports. Oh, by the way, we're getting feedback that it's looking good. So hopefully the quality maybe has settled in a little bit on YouTube side. So that's nice. Okay, so let me. So that's all that. Oh, I wanted to do one more run. That's actually a proper run, right? Without debug, to see if the status is actually updating. Okay, so. And, we did it so it will override the 5S status every time we do a 5S audit, meaning it's always representing the the latest results, right? Which is helpful, I guess. Okay, so yes, and then this, and then this. Nice, that works, right? So 5F status is okay. If we have one workspace, that's okay. We can actually click on that. That's kind of the filter. So, right, if we have more workspaces, we can actually identify those. And we should have the new documents. It's actually not that easy to see which one is the actual latest one. I mean, I guess I can see it here. And you can see this now has the status because we turn it around. So that's good. Yeah, great, cool. So I think this is looking pretty nice already. So we have the questions, we have the workspace. The workspace gets kind of its overall results saved, and we have some logic. Again, you can name it whatever you want. You can have 5 different statuses. You can have the cutoff not at 50%, 80%, but wherever. It's just an example, right? And we have the reports, by the way, that have this nice score attached to it and everything related. So that's kind of nice. So now I want to actually, unless there are questions, but I guess not. Now I kind of want to get into the whole issue tracking bit. That should be pretty interesting too. Let's go back to the UI and remember what we created in the very beginning, which is this capture issue component. So we have a description, an assignee, and some photos, right? Okay. So I want to first create a business model for this. So I'm going to call this issue. This description is required. We want to have the assignee. I want to have a status too. That is like, okay, the issue is still open. It's completed or resolved. I think that's enough for now. We're just gonna have open and resolved. So that's gonna be required. I'm just gonna select some settings here. Let me save this. We have the pictures, but the pictures we don't need a property for this because well, hold on, let me create this issue table here. You know what, I'm just actually going to give this, let me find a nice icon for this. Okay, so these are my issues, and maybe the workspaces too. Maybe we can have some nice icon here for the workspace, desk maybe. Station. I don't know. I guess you can think of a better icon that works for you. But anyway, so this is a list of issues, and every issue is gonna have, just like the wood prep station has these reports as documents attached. I want to attach the pictures that I take of the findings or of the issues the same way, and you'll see how that looks because I can turn this to grid mode and it's gonna look quite nice. Anyway, what I'm missing is a relationship between workspace and issue, and I guess the way we have to set up is a one-to-many relationship from workspace to issues, because every workspace can have multiple issues, but every issue is related to exactly one workspace. So that's a one-to-many relationship if you look at it from a workspace perspective. And that's actually, by the way, always how you have to set it up. You know, you would always have to set up one-to-many from the, or that's at least what I always do and what I recommend. So issues is going to be a one-to-many relationship to issues. So that's fine. I'm going to select preview objects because that's going to be nice. And save. Okay. 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 Yeah, that's nice now. And actually, when I create a one-to-many relationship to another model, the system will automatically add the inverse relationship, so the many-to-one to the one-to-many, in the related property. So in this case, the issue now has a many-to-one relationship to the specific workspace. Now, I think that's all we have to do to set up the data structure or the kind of like database for the issues. And now I want to actually record those or create those. And for this, I'm going to go back to the flow. And again, this doesn't really matter where I do it, but I'm just going to do it right after the UI is finished. And what I use for this, because obviously I don't know where and how many issues there actually were, so I'm going to use a so-called UI loop, find issues. And I'm just going to select the UI and I want to loop over a occurrence of a UI component and the capture issue component. And then after I'm done with that, I'm continuing my flow. If you haven't, if you don't know exactly what the UI loop does, then I recommend going back to the documentation because that's actually quite powerful. Essentially, it finds, based on certain instruction, finds elements in a UI. In this case, all these capture issue components, and then there's a loop as many times as there are issues, and I can do something inside that loop. And in this case, I'm saving issue in database, right? That's what I want to do. I'm just going to connect it like this and reverse input output to make it look a little bit nicer. So I want to create an issue, and that's actually also nice. All these properties are now here because they're required in the model. So it actually, I need to fill these now. And for this, I'm going to the find issue loop. And as you can see, I have all the fields from the capture issue components that I can now use to save the issue. So I'm going in here, issue description. I have the assignee. Again, the colors help, right? So, pink goes in pink and status needs to be blue. Status, I don't have a variable. I'm just going to set this to open, right? Because every new issue is unresolved, so that's going to be go to open. And yeah, then all we have left is the workspace, and that's not in here, but that's in the checklist again. And then at the bottom there should be the workspace to audit, object ID, and object ID. Publish. All right. I haven't done the photo yet, but I wanted to test this without the photos first. So let's go Launchpad 5S. And now the first one I'm going to actually answer with no. Something is broken. Assignee. Well, it's just going to be me. And the rest I'm going to answer with yes. Just, very simple test in the beginning to see one issue. Like so. And like so. I'm gonna finish this off and error. All right. Invalid value of start trigger data. Okay. Yep. This again. this is a development environment, and I know this is a thing we just touched recently, so there might be a bug. That problem is a technical problem that should not happen. So you know what? I'm just gonna work around this by not using. Oh no, hold on. Not using this. Where did the problem occur? In the find issue. Okay, that's an interesting place for this to happen. So it didn't happen here, but it happened here. Okay. I think I'm just gonna work around it by not using the variable here. Hold on, let me reload. Yeah, I'm just gonna select hard code a user here. I think that will work around the issue. Obviously, that's not the way it's supposed to be, and I'm gonna look into this, but yeah, I think it should be fine for the demo. So let's go back in here, select all of that. Oh no, sorry, I forgot to. We have to add one no. Something is broken. All right, so I'm gonna select yes on all of those and finish. Same error. That's unfortunate. Let me think how we can do this. So there is some issue in here. Notes. So first of all, I wanna turn this back because that wasn't the problem. So I'm gonna first turn this back to the assignee. So find issues is this one, assignee, and this one. Let me see. I think I might need to take a minute to find this issue, because that's gonna obviously mess up the flow. Okay, okay, so yeah, I just asked a dev to fix the problem. Okay, let me just post this message. Guys, that's live. I'm sorry, especially if you're working on a development environment, but I'll get this fixed. But let's go back and let's actually create the picture, because I think that's one thing we can do. So after we've saved the issue in the database, there's actually only one step more to do, which is a document creation nodes. A document, in this case, like a picture is also a document. Creates issue picture, but I think we have to do this. We want to do this only if there is a picture, because remember, it's not requires. Is there a issue picture. And yeah, so the question, so with the variable we want to check for is the first file, I guess. Condition is not empty. Yes. All right, turning this around again. So, no, sorry, there was already the correct way around. Okay, so if there is an image, I want to create it and then go back to the end of the loop. Otherwise, I want to go back to the loop immediately. No, it's not turned around. Yeah, this is how it's supposed to look. Okay. Yeah, I kind of have to move these around a little bit, right, to make it all look nice. Okay. So finding issues, for each issue I want to save it in the database. Then I'm checking if the photo is not empty. If that's true, I'm going to create it, which I still have to set up. Otherwise I just go back. Okay, so now in this one, now I'll have to put in the document file, and here also I want to set the relationship. So this again would be in the workspace, and I want to have this here, and the relationship is set like this. And you know what, for the title I'm just going to use the issue description. I think that should be fine, like this. Yeah, so that should be it. Okay, so we can try to run this again. However, I have a little bit of a suspicion that we're going to run into the same problem again with the image, with the user that we just had. Let me just get 5S audits issue. You know, it's like 5S workspace mess. Let's try to find a funny picture. Yeah, something like this, right? So that's maybe not 100% 5S compliance. That's a nice one. Okay, so let me just save this. And okay, now I'm gonna use that picture. Okay, yeah. So okay, so that's not compliance. And I'm gonna fill all this out. So I'm just chatting with the team about the issue, so trying to fix that so we can still see the results. Because I think the app is almost finished, to be honest. I think it's looking pretty good. If this works as expected, I think this is pretty usable. Yeah, but unfortunately, this is the same issue. We still have that, and because of that, I guess it's not creating the documents, etc. So. Yeah, I mean, if you... Okay, let me just think how I can fix this for now. I guess I could go to the production environment, but then I'd have to copy everything. That's not great. Okay, guys, I guess we'll have to wait just a second to get this to work, but I'm gonna save this. Yeah, maybe some time for questions in the meantime. That's not a problem, but we'll get there. I think it's going to be a few minutes, and then we'll have that sorted out, and that's all we actually need to complete the issue, to complete the app, really. So maybe we can go through and look again at what else we might want to do to make this super usable. So we have this workspace. I think this dashboard has turned out pretty nice. We actually have a list of issues. What we could do, I think that's maybe even better, is make this not in columns, but like 2 rows, and then this one just, one on top of the other. I think that's just going to look a little bit nicer, especially now if the issues, if we now have the issues lined up here, which you will hopefully see in a second. But yeah. So that should be nice. Okay, so what else we got here? Yeah. So okay, so with that, we have our issue tables, and unfortunately we don't have those yet. I mean, I guess we can create an issue manually right now, and see how that's gonna look like. So this is gonna be the user, this is gonna be status, and then that's gonna be related to this workspace. Now, if we save that, see now, these issues, they should line up nicely. And then I'm also going to see that here in my issue list. But maybe, while the team actually fixes the bug, I think I have another idea that we can implement that's actually quite useful. And I'm a software guy, right? So I'm not an expert in quality management, but I think there is a concept called binning. At least that's what I learned from some of our clients, which is where you categorize or bin your issues into certain clusters to make it easy to identify root causes, etc. So I think that's actually something we could build, and then we can build a nice Pareto analysis. So what are the major sources of problems that we have across all our 5S audits? I think that could be super helpful. So what we would have to do is go to the issue, and we would have to include some sort of a category. And I think I'm just going to use a selection property for this. Category. Let me ask ChatGPT about this. Let's assume I want to apply the concept of binning to any issues found during a 5S audit. What would be appropriate categories to use? Let's see what ChatGPT came up with. Safety, it's beautiful. That's too much already, but okay. Yeah, that's quality, organization layout, cleanliness, standardize, equipment, resource management, knowledge gaps, environments. Okay. I mean, quality concerns, that's maybe a little bit generic. Safety issues probably also a little bit generic. Let me just, like this one I like. So organization and layout might be, cleanliness and hygiene. Sure. again, probably also a little bit generic, but standardization lapses, okay. Maintenance. I mean, any one of you watching this who's actually has a background in quality management is probably going to laugh at what ChatGPT just came up with. But, you know, for someone like me who's, you know, just trying to understand how this whole thing could work, and also from like, obviously this is kind of like an example app that I'm building, so it's not that, but it's always interesting to see what like for me it's a super helpful tool for these kind of scenarios. Okay, so I'm gonna have all of these categories now. Yeah, so those are my categories, and actually I'm gonna make those required too. Okay, and now for the issues, we can actually because we can build a nice little dashboard for this, which I think is going to be quite nice. And we have a Pareto chart widget especially for this, and see, it's already using the correct category. Now it's empty, but if I just say this was maybe a training and knowledge gap based or rooted issue, and I refresh the page, you can see 100% of my issues come from training and knowledge gaps. That's kind of what this whole concept is about, right? So so yeah, and this is the 80% line. So as you know, as we do these 5S audits across different workspaces, we'll build up a list of issues, and we will be able to see where these root issues come from. And obviously I can always filter and say, okay, I only want to see the open ones. I don't want to see the resolved issues. Obviously that's something you can do, or I can see all the resolved and open issues like this. So I think that's a nice improvement on the app. By the way, speaking of next streams, if you have any ideas on any cool apps that you want to see me build, or some sort of no-code challenge that I can accept, then please post it in the chat, and I'll try to build that next time. That's kind of the idea of these streams, right? To see how far we can take this, and how you can use the Mobile2b platform to build, as we believe, almost everything, really. It's just a matter of, you know, knowing some tips and tricks, and knowing the elements, knowing how to put everything together, and then iteratively and through trial and error come up with a pretty good app that does what you want. But also, and that's I think also one of the big advantages of no code, is that it's really nicely maintainable for almost anyone. I mean, you can see this is totally visual. There's no code. Anyone who can read and kind of, you know, can go through here and follow the paths and kind of understand what this app does, in what order and what path, and that's kind of the whole point, right? So I think we're pretty much done, except for this one bug. If we get this solved and we can run it and it actually creates the issues for us. Oh no, that's wrong. That's good. We have one more thing to do. This category, this binning, we never added this to the issue, to the UI. We still need to do that. So how do we do that? Well, we actually have to copy these into the UI. So let me just actually open another tab, go to the issue component here, and we need to have the same categories as a selection right here. And I need to copy paste those for now. I can match them by label, so that's fine. But I'm just gonna copy these real quick. So that's cleanliness, that's standardization, lapses. Then I have equipment maintenance, resource management, and then we have training and knowledge gaps, environmental sustainability. Unfortunately, no feedback from the team just yet about it being actually resolved, so we'll stay put. By the way, maybe this is a nice we can talk about the category, like the display styles of selection elements. This is we can display this as checkboxes. You know, in this case, maybe not the best idea because it's, you know, pretty noisy and you know, maybe too small to click, etc. You can have the drop down, which is probably not the worst for this one. We have tiles. I mean, I think that's a no-go. I always like buttons because you can just, you know, select any of these, and it makes it very easy to select. But also because of the number of options, I would just go for drop down in this case, right? So we're gonna publish this right here, and yeah, now we can go back to the flow and actually go back into the saving issue in database bits right here, and now add another property, which is the category, and just go to our find issue loop, issue category, and now we want to have the selected option label and not the selected option ID. This might be a little bit tricky, but internally the options, the selected options have an ID, but because the selection in the UI is not, it's not the same as the selection in the business model, they're not going to have the same ID. I mean, we made it look the same because it has the same number of options and the same order, but technically it's not the same. So we want to use the selected option label because we want to match by label, and that's going to work. So now if we're going to put this in here, it should match the label of the UI option to the model option, and it should create or should set this issue category, and then consequently update our Pareto diagram with the issue. Okay. Maybe I can ask ChatGPT one more thing. So I want to do weekly live streams on YouTube, showing how to build apps using no code. What would be some cool app ideas that I can try to implement during the streams? Maybe ChatGPT has some nice ideas. Okay, a task management app. That sounds. I mean, obviously, I wanna have something that's find something that's, well, first of all, interesting enough, so it's a little bit of a challenge to actually build it, and but also something that is actually useful, because as I said, we want to make this app available once it's done, so you can actually go and use it. So okay, but anyway, task management app, that could be interesting. Recipe sharing, well, maybe not so much in a B2B context. I don't know, unless you're like a professional kitchen or something like this. Yeah, fitness tracker, same thing. Event planning tool could be nice, I guess, for like corporate events or something like this. Language learning tool, maybe not a language learning tool, but just a general e-learning app, right? So, you know, about some company related or work related content, some sort of e-learning, that would be nice. Budgeting tool, you know, that's classic business tool. Travel itinerary, yeah, it's interesting. Virtual classroom is probably similar to the e-learning or something like this. Mood tracker, yeah, I guess that's a lot of us could use that, but I don't know. And then a local business directory. Well, this could be maybe a directory as in some sort of an intranet kind of app, right? Where you maybe have all your other locations of your organization and your people or something else. Sounds good. Please give me more examples that are B2B related, meaning focused on internal business processes or something like this. I don't know. Business related. Okay, let's see. Expense reporting, employee onboarding, yes, that's a very good one. Inventory management, absolutely. I think I actually already built an inventory tracking system, so maybe that could be a good one to share. What else we got? Project management, yes. CRM, yes, very good. Employee feedback and performance review. Meeting scheduler, training and development tracker. That's also HR related. Okay, time tracking, internal knowledge base. Yeah, I think these are good ones actually. So yeah, I mean, again, if you want to see any one of those being built, just write in the comments and we'll try to make that happen in one of the next streams. Or if you have any other idea, just whatever. Post it in the messages and post it in the chat, and we'll try to make this work. Anyway, all right. So here we go. You ready? Let's take a look at the flow. Yeah, it still has the loop. So Launchpad 5S. Let's do this one. Right. So sorts. So this is all yes. Now actually let's answer these questions actually properly. So set in order. What is the cameras are clear labels, cameras shine. I think this one is are there any safety considerations in how items are arranged? Now, what do you think if you look at this image? Well, let's say small improvements possible. I don't know. Let's put this to cleanliness and hygiene. I'm gonna assign this to me, and this is our issue. Now I'm gonna set the rest to all yes, all okay. Doesn't really matter, where I put this. And I'm gonna do this with one issue now. If this works fine, I can do another test with 2 or 3 issues to see how that also works. And yes, we have a green check mark. That's awesome. So let's take a look. So what do we got? We have the report. And the report now is 96%. and not 100%. Because I guess if we go divide 24 by 25, we have 96%, right? So that's great. And here's the issue, part of the report actually. And so that's all okay. And if we now go to our workspace, we can see this is still okay, but we do have one improvement. And that's part of the list. And also if we now go to the issues, here's our cleanliness and hygiene related issue, which is still open. That's nice. It worked. Perfect. It was just a stupid bug in the backend. We fixed it. Let's do another one. Let's do another one with, oh no, sorry. I have to go to Launchpad and start it. Let's do another run, same workstation. Exactly. Let's something I noticed. If you go back to the workspace, we did create all these files, these documents, and you can see this is the issue file that was uploaded, and that's actually now part of the documents related to this workstation. Now, what it did do, it automatically set this image as the highlight image of this workstation, which is, yeah, I guess in this case it's fine because it's indicative of this workstation. You can set this highlight image however way you want it if you have more than one picture, right? But let's do another run of the 5S audits, and we're gonna select the same workstation, and I'm gonna just put issue number 1. I'm gonna put this into the same category. This is gonna be all okay. This is all gonna be okay. Then I'm gonna have one more issue here, issue number 2. I'm a little bit lazy with the issue descriptions, just so I can get just we can go through this rather fast. And actually, let me do a third one too. So this is gonna be my issue number 3. And then this is the category equipment maintenance, if you want, I don't care. So, all right. And then another signature, and let's see how it goes. And let's go to the issues immediately. And wouldn't you believe it? 1, 2, 3. This is these are my issues that were just created, all related to the same workspace, right? Different assignees, different categories. But for example, since we have 2 issues in the cleanliness and hygiene category, as you can see in this Pareto diagram, this is where the most issues come from this category. And well, obviously if you have lots more data and it spreads across the categories, you will see probably 2 or 3 categories out of a bunch of categories will typically make up 80% of the issues. And that's really helpful for, addressing the most relevant issues first, or the issue categories, root causes. So yeah, that's kind of my issue management. Obviously, in the next step, you could take it from here and have someone now have another workflow where they can actually work on these issues and report back how they solved the issues. And then you would maybe the original auditor would do an effectiveness check to see was the issue actually resolved or not. But I think that's something for another stream, because we're already in for quite a bit now. But yeah, so that's the issues dashboard, and then we have the workspaces. The issue is still okay. Maybe what we can do, or maybe let me understand this actually. So let's take the latest audit, which one is the latest? See, I only put in the date, not the time, so maybe we should have done that. But okay, so it's 88%, because I guess 22 over 25 is still not unready. Let me just do one more test. Remember how I had the 80% threshold for, right? So what is 25 times 80? So that is 20. So I have to have 6 questions raw. So I have 6 no's. Let me just do that real quick. So 2. It's probably like, if now that I think about it, if 6 out of 25 questions are not okay, then I would suspect this to be worse than just minor issues for the equipment, I guess, right? But okay, again, I'm not a quality expert. Let's just finish this up, and I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red ones. So that should put us 19 over 25. That should put us in the 76% results, which is yellow. Oh, damn it. Okay. I have to put in categories everywhere. But that's actually okay, because now we can get some more a little bit better. It's gonna look a little bit better in the Pareto chart too. So let's just do that. I'm just gonna pick any, just to be able to fill this, and to see all the red marks are gone. So I filled all the missing fields. Let's finish this. Now, first of all, you can see the Pareto now. Now it's nice, now you can see these 4 categories make up 80%. I mean, again, it's 1, 1, 1, so it's not really true, because this one or this one, there's doesn't make a difference, but you get the idea. But now let's go to the workspaces, and this also worked. So right now, the entire workstation is now categorized as yellow, minor issues, because we had less than 80% compliance. And yeah, we can see all those issues related to the workspace. And yeah, so I think that's it. I think that's a pretty good working 5S app now. So obviously you can tweak this with the questions and the order, etc. But this is something you could give someone now and have them go out. Obviously, you'd have to, create a bunch of workspaces that you want to track, and maybe edit the categories for your issues. But other than that, you can just go out and use that app as it is, and get a nice report out of it. One thing that I could also think could be helpful is maybe we could even send out the report to someone, right? So we could use an email note, and then, because the create report actually does create a link to the documents, so we can send an email, say, hey, I've just completed a new 5S report, here's the documents, something like this. But yeah, those are some nice additions, maybe for a second version. I think this is actually quite working quite nicely. We're gonna make this available, this app, to anyone who's interested. They can just copy that into their own Mobile2b environment. They can use it as is. You can edit it, you can tweak it, and also if you have any questions, just let me know. Let us know. Post in the comments. Also, obviously, like the video if you did like it. I think that's going to help us and the YouTube algorithm, especially since we're only getting started. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I want to do this on a regular basis, maybe every Thursday night. Let's see how that works for everyone. And also, we have quite a few other pieces of content planned for YouTube. So there's going to be some tutorial videos that are properly edited, and a nice coherent flow, and a lot shorter. And there's also going to be highlights on certain features. So yeah, if you're interested in no codes and what you can do with it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And any questions, any suggestions, please post a comment, and we'll be sure to answer those. And that's all for me, I guess, for today. Thanks so much. It was quite an experience, and I had a lot of fun. I think this is nice, especially if we get into actually working on your guys' suggestions, and maybe this can actually become some sort of a challenge for me to implement those. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. I'll see you soon. There's going to be some announcements for when the next stream is going to happen. But again, we're eyeing for some sort of a weekly, repetition of this. Subscribe so you don't forget, and have a good evening. Take care, everyone.